Hailiiz here. Welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. As you may have seen from today's title, I will be going over RossDraws' new brush set. I've been having a hard time saying that, so I took it slow this time. I was hoping to maybe do like a very edited video like Ross does, but I'm just not that cool and I don't have the time to get my hair and everything done. I look like a drowned rat at the moment, but either way, let's get into today's video. The first thing I'm going to be doing with you guys is just going over what all the brushes are. Before we do get into the process video, I also wanted to mention that I used his brush set as a challenge. This is not how I would probably use the brushes. I did not watch his tutorial on how to use them. I just wanted to challenge myself and go into it and try and create a drawing with them. I will make note that I did use my own sketch brush, free on Gumroad, because I did not find a brush I was comfortable sketching with, but the rest of it is basically 100% done with his brushes, and they are very out of my comfort zone, so hopefully you like the drawing despite. It's a bit different, but yeah, let's get into the brushes. So his brush set is called RossDraws Advanced Brush Set. Holy moly, I don't know if it's because of my braces or what, but I cannot say brush set. Brush set. Brush set. Good lord. Okay, so the very first brush is a very simple round brush. Very first one in the set. I don't know why I'm writing the word my. But yeah, I like it. It's cool. I did not use it very often. The next one is your airbrush. And it's very, like, it's almost textured in comparison to the airbrush that I'm used to using. Like, it kind of jumps. You can kind of see it on the page there. But it also layers. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really cool. I don't know how much I'll be using it outside of this video, but it does have a nice texture to it. It's not just a circle. Like, if you watch while you're drawing it, it almost looks like it's got like a cloudy type texture to it. So this next one is called Ink Brush. Let's try a fun new color, shall we? Ink Brush, some hot pink. So this is very, very simple. It's what you'd expect for an ink brush. I can see myself using this, especially if I'm creating more enamel pins. If you're interested in, I have like 16 left on my Etsy. I don't know if I will do more, but of that particular design, it'll never exist again. Anyways, I think I will probably use it for enamel pin design. It's very, very good for that. It's a very simple, harsh brush. I will say I'll probably move that streamline up a bit, because streamline is great. It just helps with the fluidity of your drawing. So yeah, I do really, really like that. I can see myself using it outside of this video. The next one, I'm not sure if this is because of a transfer to Procreate. It's supposed to be available for both Procreate and Photoshop and Clip Studio, I believe. I don't know if it's an issue or because I didn't watch the tutorial video. If that's the case, so sorry. But Ink Brush 2, you can see the texture on it when I move the brush up and down, but it doesn't actually do anything. So I will maybe look into the settings. I'm sure it has to be a setting issue, but it looks really cool. So I hope to use it. I have not had time to try and figure it out. And I didn't have time before doing the drawing, so I did not. I will absolutely not fault Ross on that. I'm sure it's a me issue and not a him issue, probably. I'm not the smartest cookie in the jar sometimes, so I'm sure that's the case. The next one is the paint pen brush. I did actually use this one quite a bit. It was a lot of fun. So if you look closely, it has a texture to it. And look at that. That's so pretty. And it's you know, the opacity, everything. I honestly just had so much fun working with this one. Overall, for the style of art that I do, I found it difficult to use, but I did use this one a lot. In addition, I might skip a brush here. I wanted to show you the marker brush. Because while using it, it felt quite similar, but I think looking at them next to each other, they're definitely not. So here's this texture. There's the outside texture of the marker brush, and then here is the paint brush. So it is different. Overall, it felt kind of similar in the way that it worked, but the shape and the texture are different, and I'm sure a better artist could utilize that. I'll go back up here to the Paint Pen Brush 2. This one has a super cool texture to it. I can see myself using this. Like, look at that. That's so cool. I can see myself using this for my regular brushes. Next is a texture brush. This one is very interesting. I haven't had a brush that does this. Texture indeed. Look at that. Like, that's so cool. I actually haven't experimented with brushes a lot. I haven't bought many. I buy all my brushes from heymaryjean or straight, like I just have the Procreate brushes. I talk about heymaryjean in a lot of my videos. Check her out. She's amazing. But this is really cool. Like, I could see this adding a texture to like a background or a tree or like just anything just to make the colors more interesting and less flat. Like what? That's so cool. I don't know how to make brushes myself. I just did that like sketch brush, which was just like the B pencil, changing it up a bit. So yeah, that one's super cool. I could see myself utilizing that for textures. Here's texture brush 2. You can kind of see the texture there. And then woohoo, look at that. That's so neat. I don't know what I would use it for, but again, it probably similar sort of deal. Textures, shading to make it interesting. I'm just going around everywhere. But like, that looks so cool. It's almost like a track. It reminds me of tire tracks. Obviously that's not the case, but it does remind me of that. Next is texture brush 3. This one's very interesting. If you look at the brush picture there, when I change the size, super interesting texture. I'm not sure what's going on here, but look at that. That would be a cool texture to use, especially I think in like nature photos. I think that'd be so neat. This looks like some creepy, spiny, sneaky thingy. I love snakes, but you know, like the skeleton of a snake is probably pretty creepy. Shout out to Series of Unfortunate Events. I always think about that. Anyways, good textured brush. I really like that. Again, I can see myself utilizing it. Let's use a blue. Texture brush 4. Another really cool texture. And look at that. And the way that it turns. Oh, that's fun. I admittedly did not fool around much when I was actually... Wow, that could be really cool for backgrounds. Create some cool shapes. Wow. I like that a lot. I didn't fool around with the brushes too much when I was creating the portrait. I admit I've had a very stressful couple of weeks, and I'm trying to mentally come back from it and remind myself of my goals, and the only way I'm going to get there is to calm the heck down. So, here we are. Alas, I rushed through the portrait. I still like it, but I could have utilized, I think, a lot of these textures a lot better. This one's cool. Very hairy-like. More of that thing that I think looks like tire tracks but doesn't. But super, super fun. Again, I could definitely see, like, especially this, I could totally see me using this for texture of, like jewelry, wood, lots of different things I could use that for. This one is Oil Brush 2. And more tire tracks, but the sizing is different, and also the way that this looks is very different. So I think, let me just throw down some colors here. So if I love those. Okay, if I used this oil, am I using Oil Brush 1? Oil Brush 2. As a blender. Ooh, it does kind of look like I don't use oil paints, so I actually cannot verify that, but I think it looks super cool. I could definitely see this being used in a very painterly type style. Good at blending. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be for blending, but I really like it. Here's me not blending. This is just me drawing with it. One thing I did find is I'm very much into using brushes that like, what's the word? Peak at the end? There's another word for it. I can't remember what it is. Like it's pointed at the end, but these don't really do that. I'll think of the word at some point throughout this video, probably. This one's called RD Texture Brush, and I did fool around with this one. I think it looks sick. I could see myself using this for textures and lighting and so many different things. So just like, look at that. Like this is me pressing quite lightly, and then this is me pressing hard. Like, it's just got this really, really cool texture, and I could see myself utilizing it for a lot of different things, just keeping it interesting. Like, holy moly, it already looks like a background of some sort. Like, I don't know. Like, you gotta have fun with things. Let's keep this. This looks fun. And I just really, really enjoyed this from what I could see when I was playing around with the brushes. I'm not a landscape artist. Next brush, you're gonna see why I use the landscape horrible design now, is the flower brush. How cute. Let's add some orange flowers. I think this is so cute, especially if you're doing like a large landscape photo. This would be super convenient. I love it. I think it's so cute. So cute. Like, look at that. Insane. Next is a plant brush. This is pretty cool. I do like this quite a lot. And it's you know, leaves. But yeah, I think this brush is super cool. Grass brush. I swear it's my braces that's messing me up here. This one is interesting. I never would have picked this shape, but I guess if you do the grass in like certain areas, not like the whole thing. I don't do landscape. I know nothing about what I'm talking about. But I could see this being really, really useful. Really useful. Makeshift landscape. Again, the shape is, let me just drop this here. So the shape is super interesting. It's not what I would have done for a grass brush. I also don't do backgrounds like he does. His backgrounds are phenomenal. Absolutely ridiculously phenomenal. I definitely aspire to be able to do that. So I definitely will be checking out these brushes, using them a bit more. I think, for sure. This one is Plant Texture Brush. So I'm assuming this is like plant texture. So it's pretty strong. I don't know if I'm supposed to lower the opacity, or I've never really bought in brushes. So anyways. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. I don't know how this is supposed to be used, but it's still really cool. I think it's really fun actually to go into the brush set not really knowing what the purpose was. I feel like it kind of changed my look on it. Now looking and really experimenting, like it's super different. So I didn't think I would recommend that, but I do. It's kind of fun. Like go into it, draw something, and then go and like really pay attention, maybe look at tutorials on how to use them. It was experimental for me, and I think it turned out. So we'll see how you guys feel. This next one's called Oil Rake. Now, because he says rake, I'm going to try using it with the blending brush. It's hard to see. So I think that looks super cool. This is definitely something that I would use. You might note in my portraits, I often at the end kind of spice it up with some random things pulled out of their normal crevices, if you will. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I could definitely see myself using this rake. I find this shape of a brush, like this long skinny type of brush, is a lot more common on Photoshop, so it was really fun to use. Now this next one, if you know me well, is my favorite brush out of all of them, and it's called Debris Sparkle Brush. I love it. I think it is amazing. I will definitely be utilizing it because it spices things up from my usual. It's literally just dots Dots, you guys. I just love dots. I love adding particles. The idea of adding something that's like the light shining through is just c'est magnifique. I just love like dust in the air. I don't know how to describe it other than that. That's pretty much it. And there's 3 more brushes. They're all called mixer brushes. So I'm going to, you know, use the blender. So this is the first mixer brush. I think it's an interesting, I don't really have great colors to show you guys this, but I really like it. I could see myself using it. I don't know if I would use it in my painting. I'm trying to experiment a lot more, so I'm not just doing what I basically do all the time, but it looks super fun. I think it could, ooh, actually that looks good from far away. Another tip I learned from RossDraws is zoom out all the way. This is one of my other videos, and I find you can really see your piece coming together. This is not a piece, if you will. This is a doodle to show you guys this, but I thought I'd point that out anyways. The last 2, Mixer Brush 2 and Mixer Brush 3, if I remember correctly, they're decently similar. This one gives me like a wood feel, a wood texture feel. I really like it. And then the last one is Mixer Brush 3, which is just a little bit more spacey, but also the same sort of feel. So yeah, if you do want to check it out, RossDraws recently posted the picture on Instagram where I found this pack information, and then I purchased it off of his store. I personally recommend it. I couldn't find any that I personally like to sketch with, but in regards to painting, especially landscapes, this is something that I will be experimenting with a lot more. On that note, the drawing that I did today is a portrait, not a landscape. It was an experiment of my own, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I kind of wrote down in the corner what I was using, but overall, after showing you the brushes, I think it'll be pretty easy to tell that a lot of these brushes are going to be like the paint or the marker. I did use my Hailiiz brush a bit to get some of the texture that I wanted, and then I think I used the noise brush, which comes with Procreate, and then I believe I used my regular air brush because I was having a hard time with Ross's, but that's simply out of experience, not out of poor quality. So without further ado, here is my process video of my new drawing. Let me know if you like it, if you want to see me experiment more with other people's brush packs, anything like that, and if you want to see a weekly art video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!